You're watching Drake Queen Gaming. Enjoy the video.
Hey guys and gals, Nary here from Drake Queen Gaming, and some of you may on Twitter, the Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming back at you another Let's Play episode of MajorMinor. So yeah, before we jump into it, I want to let y'all know that the Patreon is now up. We've got Bronze tier, Silver tier, and Gold tier, $5, $10, and $15 respectively. Each of those tiers gets you exclusive rewards and permanent access to our community Discord server. Go ahead and jump right in, y'all. It's as little as $5. But anyway, let's go ahead and jump right back into it, shall we? Alarm Chan, you are up, and let's go. Hello. There we go. Okay, let's do it. Alright. Answer the questionnaire honestly, okay? Well, it will change the way some of the dialogue is displayed. This first one is self-explanatory, as well as influences your eternal thoughts. Are you a boy or are you a girl? Please just humor me and play along for now. In this run, I will be male. And a good-looking one at that. Starting with the obvious, I guess. A large corporation wants to hire you. Do you prefer a leading role or not? An Endymion or a Conrad, if you could say. I know if you're in a leadership position, you go, look at you if things go wrong. So I have been booed. This time I'll go for a follower. That's more like it. You have so much more freedom that way. You get held back the higher up you are. Red tape, restrictions, policies. A savior would rather be a follower. I can't say I would have expected that. Anyway, moving on. Let's see here. Do you consider yourself skeptical, or are you an easily trusting person? I think I know the answer to that one. I am definitely a skeptic. I'm a bit of both, actually. I'd say I am a... Wait, I was wrong? It wouldn't be the first time, Conrad. Hey, that's not nice. I thought I got a pretty good read on him. Right. You are about to go to war. Would you prefer to attack or defend? Oh, now we're digging a little deeper. Remember, there are no wrong answers. We are simply defining you on paper. To that end, what position do you prefer? I prefer a defensive role, actually. Well, you know what they say. Something about a good defense. Not what I would have picked, though. But look at what I do for a living. Conrad, don't judge people's outlooks. That's only a recipe for disaster. Now, allowing us to move on. Would you take one life to save many? That's kind of what we do every day. Do you think you'd be able to do it? Take a life for the greater good? Nope. Really? And you're supposed to be our savior? Sorry for Conrad's assumptive nature. You can resolve issues without death. None of the fun ones, at least. Alright. We're almost done, I promise. You're running late to your destination. The paths before you are as follows. There is a short but dangerous route, and a long but much safer route. If you take the long route, you may be late, but the short route may lead to your death. What route do you take? I'm taking the long and safe route, dumbasses. You mean kind of like we're doing now? This is incredibly boring, though. I'd love for something eventful to happen. And put the savior at risk? Why would that be a good decision to make? I didn't say it would be a good decision. I'm saying it would be a fun one. Conrad winks at me. I shrug it off. Just one more question, I promise. Besides, we're almost to town. About time. Do you prefer the company of others, or do you prefer to be alone? I like having others around. I let them know that I like the company of others. Glad to hear it. I was starting to think maybe you hated us. I know Endymion can get on people's nerves. That would be pretty lame, after all the trouble we went through. Conrad, I apologize for his words. Etiquette was not in his curriculum. However, fortunately, we have concluded, and not a moment too soon either. The town is just a few moments ahead. I know we can't take many detours, but we need to hand in these papers. We'll make a quick stop, and that's it. We should probably check our mail, too. That's true. Kaelin may have written. Endymion looks at me and sighs loudly. I guess you're in luck, Savior. You'll get to see the Wayfarer's Tavern. It's the hottest place to be on Terra. He's joking, of course. We just stay there sometimes. And we own one of their postal boxes. They serve drinks, too. Conrad likes that. But really, it's an immigration office. They just needed to spice it up a bit. True. Nobody likes mail and immigration. Second now. It is water time. But everyone and their mum loves drinking. If you look ahead, you can see it. He points ahead and I see he's right. He's right. A small town is coming into view. A bar that doubles as an immigration office? It sounds weird, but so does everything as of late. At least we can take care of two matters at once. Handing in my papers and checking their mail. Then maybe, just maybe, I can meet their king. He would definitely have the answers I seek. Pop quiz. School days, full days. Singe's office. Oh, I have a friend named Singe. Back on Earth. Deep into the night of Klace's death. Oh. Oh, hello there, Durg. I must admit, it seems rather suspicious. For these midnight deaths, I never believed in them to begin with. Or rather, that they were supernatural. The media loves to romanticize things. I'm sure many people die at midnight daily. But to affect one of my idols? Mere days before the debut of their tour? No, it has to be a coincidence. I'm sure. Got so many characters. It's so cool. I don't know, Singe. I mean, sir. Singe is fine. We're closer than that, Rocker. Alright. Social media exploded at Klace's death. Good luck playing it off as a hoax. The body bag was even on national TV. I'm not sure how we'll spin this, exactly, but fans are starting to fill in the cracks. There's talk of it being a crazed fan. The work of a stalker, they say. It can't be. I've seen stalkers before. They're much more erratic, not calculated. This has the workings of a serial killer, if it was a murder at all. A stalker wants to possess, not destroy. So the end goal was Klace's murder? Absolutely not. That's self-centered. We must presume the killer will still act. A serial killer doesn't just stop. I had hoped this was an isolated incident. But the MO matches these midnight deaths. Right down to the method of murder. It seems their goals became much more grandiose. If they aren't done, then who's next? That's what chills me the most. A larger target than a pop idol? What's wrong? I talked to Jade earlier about these deaths. She mentioned they were all like suicides. At least half of them looked that way. There was another half that was murder. No confusion there, gunshots and all. I was told that Klace died of asphyxiation. There was no sign of a struggle. Do you mean? Absolutely not. There was no evidence left behind. If he took his own life, there would be. You can't kill yourself, then clean up. I'm very certain Klace was murdered. But it's these midnight deaths I doubt. Are we facing a serial killer? Or is it the media just making things up? These could be completely isolated deaths. Time of death being the same isn't that odd. I guess that's true, but it's not just that. It's time of death and method of death. A suicide with no evidence isn't suicide. So there are two groups then? The mysterious suicides and the murders. But I'm willing to bet they're both murders. You seem to have figured out a lot. I thought they'd keep Klace under wraps. Second, y'all. Is water time. Okay. I had to pull a lot of strings. I'm glad you figured it out, Rocker. There aren't two groups. There's only one. This is assuming one major thing, of course. That we're dealing with a single culprit. And these aren't isolated in incident. In nature. So, a murder covered up as a suicide, huh? Not very well either, it would seem. If they wanted it to look like a suicide, why would they take the weapon with them? If Klace was found with a rope around him, none of us would be doubting this at all. But this is the same throughout all cases. I believe the police are jumping the gun. There's nothing that labels these suicides, especially in light of one major fact. All the victims were mentally fit. If we're dealing with a killer here, there's no way they're trying to trick us. They want us to know these aren't suicides. It's the police that are in the wrong, or perhaps they are being manipulated. Thinking about this gives me a headache. Man, I wish I was in bed right now. I'm sorry for robbing you of sleep. I just didn't want to handle this alone. It's not a problem. Just Jade and Dazz are outside as well. I'll stay as long as you need. Would you mind letting Jade in? We need to discuss press matters. We'll need to make a statement tomorrow. Absolutely. And Dazz is here, you said. Please stay with her in the limo, and tell her what I plan to do with her. Roger. Moments pass. Oh, hello there. Hello again, Singe. I feel like it's been a while. Too long, I'm afraid, and not under the circumstances I'd prefer. Indeed. I always felt bad for Klace, how people were blaming him for the murders. Just because the death started when we... Sorry, I shouldn't get into superstition. I just never would have guessed. Klace's death would be what absolved him? The people can't blame a victim, I mean. Indeed. And how do you think I feel? I didn't buy into these midnight deaths. I left him vulnerable. Open, even. I'm used to the media making up trends, even in completely unrelated things. I should have been more cautious of this. I should have assigned more guards to him. Perhaps this could have been avoided. I don't think guards would have helped, sir. Besides, have you worked on your alibi? Alibi? You were the last person to see him alive, and you two had a heated argument as well. You should drop that line of thought, Jade. Veiled accusations only hurt you in the end. The media will want to know. It's not me. That is what you asked me here for, right? So we can decide what to tell the press. I suppose you're right. That, and the changes we'll need to make. The tour must go on as planned. The amount of refunds people will want makes me scared just thinking about it. That's a separate beast entirely. But first, how about we address the death? I think you need to be blunt. You shouldn't be anything less than honest. Tell them you don't know what happened. We're on the same page as everyone else. Let them know we're cooperating with the police. It's important they feel in sync with us. We must not appear to hide facts from them. We'll make things public as the police does. You're right. There isn't much else to do, but we still need to talk about the tour. Indeed. And this is where we have control. I know what you plan to do with Dazz. Rocker told me as we crossed paths just now. We shouldn't change topic just yet, though. Second now, water time. Remember the two groups of deaths? The group of murders and of suicides? I figured out something shocking tonight. The culprit for the group of murders? They were found. A week ago, Singe. What? And here's where it gets more bizarre. They have a watertight alibi. It excuses them fully from the suicides. They were a copycat killer, and they've admitted this openly. The true culprit is still at large. I see. But the police are still in the wrong. The suicides are not suicides at all. At least conflicting MOs aren't an issue. We only have to focus on the suicides now. Does this make it easier on us? Unfortunately not. There's just too much missing here. No suicide note, no evidence, along with the victims being mentally fit. If it was a suicide, there'd be evidence at the crime scene. Instead, we have almost nothing at all. The true culprit must be an expert. They can tamper with the crime scenes. They can leave no shred of evidence behind. Just who could it be? It's likely a cop. Someone who's been trained in these things. It's possible. I have a theory, though. Something a little more bizarre than most. I don't have time for quantum mechanics. There has to be a logical reason for this. The murder started as our tour arrived. The killer must have a police background. Jade? Yes? Bring me Klace's security guard. I'll need to speak with him immediately. You mean... Yes. At this point, it's very logical. Our own hired guard could be the killer. Meanwhile, in the privacy of the limo... Hey, Dazz. Oh, wow. Jesus. No one believes in undershirts in this game, I suppose. She's shocked back into coherence. Sorry, I was a world away there. That's fine. I mean, given what happened and all. Part of me is worried. A part of me hates that I'm not worried for Klace, though, and not even for those around him. I care more about our own careers. Who will you play guitar for? Who will I sing and dance alongside? Forgive my foolishness, I should never have said that. There's no need to apologize. I thought the same things. A death is absolute. It can't be changed. What happens to us, however? Well, it's malleable. Worry is normal. Perhaps it is also partly denial. One of the steps we go through in grief. Yeah, we can justify it that way. But at the end of the day, I'm scared. I've never seen Sin show any emotion. Idols come and go in this business. He just adapts without any hesitation. I don't want to be like that. Emotion is what makes us truly alive. I bet they're talking about the tour. They'll probably just address the press, and then forget that Klace even existed. I want to feel sad, but can't. Is there something wrong with me? Am I becoming like Singe and Jade? They're in the fast-paced business, Dazz. They need to roll with the punches like this. You and I have time to adapt, but they'll be in the spotlight pronto. Also, they were talking about the tour. I know what's going to happen to us. That's why I'm not as worried anymore. Maybe if I tell you, you'll understand. Then maybe you can put this worry aside, too. Really? Yeah. Singe is engaging in damage control. He needs to minimize any refund requests. So the tour's opening night will change. Instead, it'll be a vigil for Klace. Something all of his fans would attend. He's definitely playing to their grief. But it's a good way to retain the audience. That's extremely cold. It's extremely Singe, isn't it? The show must go on, he said. I suppose. So, a vigil then? What's gonna happen there? Have you heard the story of Japan's birth? Excuse me? Is that even relevant right now? If you'll listen, I'd like to think so. Very well. Before the universe, there was nothing. The fuck? A huddled mass of chaos and total stillness. It lay there forever, not moving an inch. Though one day it flinched. It started to move, like a cloud. And soon after that, like a hurricane. It moved and moved. Some chaos rose to the top. The light. This created heaven. Or Takamagahara. But some of the chaos was dark in nature. It wasn't worthy of ascending to heaven. It stayed at the bottom, becoming earth. A kami was born between the light and dark, a god known as Ame no Minakanushi, or All-Father, or the originating hub. I'm sorry, I have to stop you there. I don't buy into this religion stuff. Who said anything about religion? I'm merely spouting myth. Are those not one and the same? Please allow me to continue. A large rainbow connected heaven to earth. Ah, an Einstein-Rosen bridge. It acted as a bridge between worlds. Ame no Ukahashi it was called, or floating bridge of heaven. Two more gods came into being at this point. Their names were Izanagi and Izanami. Earth was still a puddled mass of nothing. Izanagi and Izanami stood on the bridge. They looked down at this nothing in awe. Izanagi was gifted a spear from Minakanushi. He thrusted his spear into the dark puddle. Upon pulling it out, it started dripping. These drops stayed on the surface. They formed the islands of Japan. The first landmass on Earth was born. They were tasked with descending the bridge. They went down and finished creating Earth. Izanagi engaged in a purification ritual. He washed away all of his impure aspects, and he used them to aid in the creation. Our sun and moon, created by the impurities in his eyes, and storms were born from those in his nose. All of his impurities were used. After that, we were born, with a world to call our own. That's awfully convenient. We're created from impure aspects of God? Sounds like a tragedy if you ask me. How does this relate to the tour? Or us? I'm about to get to that. Singe is altering the entire tour. It will be a retelling of this story. The set list will symbolize his creation. And souls will be offered to heaven. Through that rainbow bridge, of course. Not just Klace's, but all the victims. Elaborate. I don't think Singe would do that much. Now I feel bad for assuming what I did. It's okay. You didn't know. So, will we perform covers then? Of Klace's hits and other relevant songs? You got it. But then you come in. The tour will end with a special surprise. A special surprise? Yes, an announcement from you. You'll be taking over the world tour. You'll be headlining, Dazz. You'll perform to a sold-out crowd. It'll be your turn for the spotlight. You'll finally become something more. Something more, huh? Yes. We'll be saying goodbye to Klace and welcoming a new idol to the world. I suppose I should be honored. I will serve as your guitarist. You have my complete loyalty, Dazz. Thanks. But I'm not sure about Shock. Him and Klace are childhood friends. He may take this harder than any of us. Right. Well, if you'll excuse me, this is overwhelming. I need fresh air. Of course. I guess I should join her. It's getting stuffy in here. A shuffling sounds from the front seat. Bro is dead? Would you like to save your game? Yes, please. Thank you. Okay. Alright. I'm gonna go ahead and pause it there, y'all. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell. Leave a super thanks or tip if you can. It always helps. Until the next video, I love you all. Please check out the Patreon, y'all. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.